can't join our book club.
This is the last episode of the season.
You can't join our book club. Yeah, that's right. You heard it. You can't join our book club.
It only gets better from here.
You can't join our book club. Maybe. Let's hope so. Book club, book club, book club, book club, book club.
It's a book club.
It's a book
Yeah!
club. Yeah, baby.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show.
Welcome back.
It's our 6th, but actually our 5th and final episode of this season.
Yeah.
I want to take a second to just say, in case you didn't know what happened, we lost an episode.
Yeah, let's have a moment of silence for the hunt for Red October. Amen.
Yeah, so we did a whole episode about that book, and it was supposed to be the second or third episode.
I think
air?
it is the third one.
Yeah,
it was really fun,
and we were pretty happy with it.
Played a fun game,
and just because of the nature of the way we did this show, we did a lot of recording in advance, and then we were kind of editing and releasing, and so it was a while before we even knew that it was gone. Presumably I deleted it by mistake.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there, but yeah, so oops. But yeah, this is our last episode of the 6 books that we were planning to do for season 1.
Yeah, which maybe had a theme, but it's not important. We just picked 6 books that we wanted to read.
Yeah. The original idea was kind of sci-fi, and then we just kind of went off the rails a little bit. But
yeah, but it's been fun.
Yeah,
Tim, it's been very fun.
Yeah, I'm excited about what's to come, but mostly I'm excited to finally talk about this book.
Yeah. So we're recording this in April right now.
Yeah.
The end of April.
Yeah.
We started reading this book at the beginning of the year.
Has it been that long? Is that true?
Yeah. It's been about 4 months since we've last recorded.
That's insane.
And lucky us, we planned ahead. So we're only just now getting ready to release the 5th episode.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're recording this, mid-April, so the 5th episode came out, or will come out at the beginning of May.
May the 1.
Yeah, so we've still got plenty of time to get everything edited. Glad that we were so ahead.
Yeah. But enough about the behind-the-scenes shenanigans. Let's get into this book, which I am terrified to talk about. We read House of Leaves.
That's right, we did.
Yay!
What a crazy book.
This is that book that one weird friend tells you is a really good read, but it's just hard to get into and you're not smart enough to read it. And that weird friend is me,
us.
and he's right.
Yeah. Specifically Joey is telling you guys.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you're not smart. This book is insane, and I felt insane while I was reading it. Spoiler alert, there are going to be spoilers in this.
Ooh,
but
lots.
Also, spoiler alert for just you listening, this episode might not make sense.
Yeah. Before we jump all the way into the spoiler territory, I guess let me talk a little bit about what the book is.
Yeah.
It's difficult to describe, but essentially it's written as though it's a textbook about a subject. It's the majority of the book is formatted like a nonfiction, text that has footnotes, it has references constantly throughout. Everything has little citations. It's got an index in the back for looking stuff up. It's very much trying to look like a textbook. And that textbook is about a fake documentary about a house that has rooms that don't make sense.
Yeah. So it's basically if you've ever seen Doctor Who, it's like the TARDIS if it was evil and wanting to kill you,
Yeah.
and terrifying to read about.
Yeah, the house is bigger on the
It's
inside.
bigger on the
And
inside.
it doesn't make sense, and it tries to make you feel crazy.
Yeah. So yes, this book is it's like a story within a story within a story, possibly within another story.
Yeah. And so there's another layer to the textbook in that some of the footnotes are written by a guy named Johnny Truant, and those footnotes are he's not the one that wrote the textbook. He's commentating on the textbook and also talking about his life and what's going on with him.
Yeah. So if this makes it easier to imagine, main focus is this movie, this documentary. And then zoom out a little bit, the text is about that documentary. Zoom out a little bit more, the text is about the text, about the documentary. Zoom out a little bit more, and that's the actual book.
Right.
It's a lot.
It's intentionally as confusing as it can be.
But boy, did I maybe have fun with it.
Yeah. Ups and downs with this book.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess if you're interested in reading that, check it out.
Good luck.
It's, yeah. If you're not doing it for something like what we did, where we're committed to reading it with someone else, you're probably gonna crash about 300 pages in.
Yeah, because I had tried reading this twice before.
Yeah.
And it took having another person to hold me accountable to actually get through this. And even then, it took 4 months.
Genuinely, if we weren't doing this for this show, I think that, like, even if we were reading it together, but just not for this, I think I would have been like, hey, man, I don't think this is going to happen.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that I wasn't enjoying the book, but it was just a lot.
It's a lot. So anything else before we hop into other stuff?
No, let's jump in.
All right. Well, actually, let's not jump in. I'm going to take that back. I'm
Right.
going to introduce you to my drink.
Yeah.
I made a drink. It is, okay. So what it was originally, actually, hold on. There's a whole story with this drink.
Okay.
Because my original idea was to look up, I had already mentioned it, Doctor Who cocktails. Because
Okay.
I was like, if I do like a bomb shot or something, like a drink within a drink, it's like, it's bigger on the inside. That's funny.
Yeah.
Couldn't find anything good for that. So then I was like, what if I just make a drink that is pretty good as a celebration of us getting through this book and this season? And that's basically what I went with, but I still made it blue for reasons that are important to the book that we'll get into.
And I love that.
But this was supposed to be a ripoff of a Kingdom Hearts 2 cocktail that I ended up not doing because we didn't have half the stuff and I just started messing around with it. But there is caramel vodka and white rum and a sweetened condensed milk / water mixed together thing, all in a glass with a salted rim, and I call it, are you ready for this?
I'm so ready.
It is Scare in the Big Blue House.
Nice. Oh, I love that so much. That's
Yeah.
I love that.
I didn't have the name until like 3 days ago, and I was laying down in bed, and I was like, oh man, that's pretty good. I should write that down.
That's genius. I love that.
So this is our drink. It's only been sitting out for about an hour because we were having technical difficulties, but let's give it a...
Yeah, still good.
The salt really helps.
Still good.
I'm going to keep going for a second, actually, so keep talking.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect with this drink when you were explaining the ingredients to me, but I'm here for it.
Yeah.
It's also it's shockingly blue if you haven't seen the Instagram post. Assuming there's an Instagram post.
Oh, yeah. Follow us on Instagram, maybe, if we ever have an Instagram. Links will theoretically be in descriptions somewhere.
Yeah, at some point.
Let's not worry about that.
Let's not get too into the weeds of that.
Yeah.
Let's jump into this
Let's
book.
hop into
Let's
this
go.
goddamn book. So the centerpiece of this story is this documentary called, how do we want to say the name? We have to agree. Do you say Navidson?
I say Navidson, but
We're gonna say Navidson.
I mean we can say Navidson. I looked it
I,
up.
I
to
didn't
see.
I didn't say that. I was saying Navidson.
Oh, see, the two that I found when I was looking it up were Navidson and Navidson.
I don't like
But-
Navidson. That sounds
Okay.
dumb and fake.
Well, they were saying that it's Navidson because Navy. But,
Because his nickname's Navy.
yeah, but I still feel like Navi. I like Navi.
Yeah,
But anyway, it doesn't matter.
like the people from Avatar.
exactly.
The blue people.
The Navi people.
Yeah. Okay, so
yeah.
the center of the story is a documentary called The Navidson Record, right?
Yes.
Yeah. In which this photographer, Will Navidson, is recording his family moving into a house in, I think, Virginia. And while they're, setting up their lives in this house, he realizes that a room in the house is like a quarter of an inch bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. And so he starts calling in his friends who are good at measuring shit. And he's like, yeah, this is impossible. And eventually they find this hallway, which isn't supposed to be there. The what do they call it? The 5.5 minute hallway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
Great name.
Yeah. So the 5.5 minute hallway specifically is referring to the first part of this documentary that got released, which is just, I believe it's Will, just recording himself walking down this hallway that just appeared in his house, and it just goes on for 5.5 minutes, even though he should be like far, far outside of his house by that point.
Right.
So it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. They're starting expeditions going in like further and further into the house. There's a whole bunch of turmoil between him and like his brother and this like wildlife hunter dude.
Yeah, they hire a man to come lead the expeditions, largely because of some issues between Navidson and his wife.
Yes.
Their marriage has been struggling because he is constantly putting himself in danger for his career because he's a war photographer is a lot of what he does.
Yes.
So they've moved here and he's supposed to be like semi-retired, and so she doesn't want him venturing into this creepy hallway. She's like, this is bad news. Don't do that. So they get Halloway to come, and he's gonna lead this expedition. And yeah, he's like this. He's got all these crazy things that he's done just in nature, and he's super experienced, and he should be really skilled at this kind of thing.
Yeah. So the way that we get this information is through it's like the expeditions are different parts, different chunks of the documentary. So it's like expedition 1 and 2 and 3 and whatnot. And Will Navidson keeps having the people that are exploring take all these camera equipment with them so that they can record everything that's going on. And that's what comprises most of the actual documentary.
He also has set up cameras around the house
Yeah.
in a lot of locations and put them on motion sensors. Originally, this was supposed to be part of his... He was going to document them moving to this house and living here. It was not originally for the purpose of documenting this weird hallway and all this crazy house stuff. But, of course, as strange things start happening, that becomes their purpose, and they are capturing a lot of that on these wall-mounted cameras,
Yeah.
and it's kind of interspersed in the text, where it's both explaining kind of what the documentary is doing and also like recapping the documentary.
Yeah, there's like it's weird to read, but very interesting. Because sometimes, yeah, it's just like explaining what's going on. Sometimes there's like actual transcripts of the documentary. And then interspersed with that is like a whole bunch of stuff that came out like after the actual documentary. So it's like interviews with these people. There's like quotes from books that were like studies of this documentary or the
Yeah.
people that came out of it.
Lots of theses written about it, lots of just different takes from literary people, from movie people, from just all walks of life. And I think it's important to note, I'm sure most of these people are fake, but some of the time they use real people.
Stephen King was quoted.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Stanley Kubrick was
Mm-hmm.
quoted. But also, fun thing, when you're reading this and you get to like the third layer of the story, which is Johnny Truant's part, or possibly even a different layer, which is the editors themselves,
Yeah.
you realize that a lot of these quotes, a lot of these books that are being quoted, a lot of these people, they never said this. These quotes aren't real. These books don't exist.
Right.
Or,
and there's no evidence of the record itself.
the documentary,
the documentary may not exist.
yeah, it may be completely fake. Why? Great question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I
But
figured it
I
out.
love that so much because it really, my favorite thing about that is I think that the best thing any horror thing can do is root itself in reality enough to make it scary to me. You know, like, okay, this feels like it exists in the same world that I live in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot harder to find yourself removed from that when it feels like it's existing along with you.
Yeah.
And this does that because like the whole concept of saying like, okay, this isn't even real. Like you can't look that up is kind of acknowledging that, okay, if I go and look this up right now, you're not going to find it. But all this stuff is still happening to the Johnny Truant character as he's like reviewing this record and all this stuff is happening. So it feels more grounded in reality just from that.
Yeah. And one of the things I had, I had multiple, I guess, group discussions with other people who had read this book. And one of the things that was pointed out to me is that there's a chance that this might just be, or at least that part in particular, where it's like super heavily sourced to the point of kind of being redundant.
Yeah.
And then it ends up not even being real. That might just be a dig at like actual academic papers and just like academia in general.
That makes a lot of sense. I kind of felt that way stumbling through it because it gets to the point of being absolutely ridiculous. Some of the citations, it's like constant, like self-referential, and then, you know, layer upon layer upon layer of footnote describing this stuff. And it's like, that is ridiculous, but it feels real, you know, like it feels like what you see when you're reading this kind of thing in real life.
Yeah. Sorry, you might hear me flipping through the book real quick. There's something I'm trying to find.
But so as the book continues, like you oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Found it. So I'm looking in the index, and I think this definitely probably proves that whole dig at academia thing to be true. The index sources every single page that the word "so" is written.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, I read through the index just a little bit to see what was in there, and some of it is like legitimate, like, okay, that makes sense, and some of it is just silly.
Yeah. God, that's a lot. That's a lot of so. Sob was only written once on page 127.
And there were a couple in there like that where it said once, and I was like, I can't believe that that's true.
Yeah, that's the thing. If I had more time with this book, if I had more than 4 months with this book, I probably would have actually went through just to see. I have a feeling that a lot of
Most
this
of them
isn't
are fake.
true. Yeah.
If this was the only book, I would know a lot about it.
If this was the only, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
I think
man.
that's how that works.
Yeah. But yeah, so the story continues, and basically as they get further into, I think this even happens before Holloway gets involved. They, which I love that his name is Holloway because it just looks like hallway almost,
Yeah,
and I think that's intentional for sure. But the whole book, like, I lost everything that was happening in my brain.
no, it's good.
Oh,
It's
right. So they eventually put a door up and put like or like 6 or 7 locks on it to try and block that part of the house off from the rest of it.
Yeah,
Partially to protect the kids because he has
yeah,
2 kids.
Yeah, he has 2 children this whole time.
And that's another thing. As you go along, you find out that their teachers are becoming concerned about them. They've started just drawing like big black squares on pieces of paper and like really creepy. Like, it's just creepy that they're constantly doing that and
Yeah.
separate from each other doing that.
Yeah, that's just creepy kid stuff.
Right.
Drawing squares and shit.
And another important thing to mention, I think, is that this Johnny Truant character stumbles across this unpublished work that is the book about the Navidson record, which is written by a guy named Zampano.
Zampano, yeah.
And he died.
Yeah.
And this book was like one of the things that was left in his apartment.
Yeah, so that's how the story how the book starts.
Right.
Is Johnny Truant is like looking for a new apartment, and his friend, whose name I don't remember,
Lewd.
Oh, he is rather lewd, isn't he?
He is. Yeah. I kept thinking I was misreading it and that it was Luke.
But yeah, so his friend Lude is like on the lookout for apartments for his friend Johnny.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey man, why don't you check out like this building?" And he goes to that building, and this old blind man is like dead.
Right. And
Yeah.
somehow Johnny ends up with stuff from his apartment because Lou is involved and weird stuff happens when they're involved with stuff. I don't know.
He's involved with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
For some reason. Yeah.
So
my go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, they also in the apartment find some weird stuff. Tape measures nailed to the floor.
Yeah.
All of the windows are covered.
Claw marks
On the floor and on other things. And then, of course, this huge manuscript. And so the idea, kind of as you're reading it, it's a lot of it is almost from the perspective of Johnny Truant reading this book.
Yeah.
Because he's putting this together and trying to turn it into something that can actually be published. And in doing so, he's also like
going insane.
He's losing his mind. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not super apparent until you're like probably 100 pages in. And then it starts to be like, oh, he's not doing all right.
Yeah, he starts like getting weird feelings like, oh, something's behind him.
Yeah.
Something's attacking him.
Yeah.
Oh no, I got stabbed and I shit my pants. Oh wait, no, I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. So he works in this tattoo parlor.
Yeah, he's a tattooman's apprentice.
Eventually he's not anymore because he is just doing so badly that they're like, you can't be
he's
here.
Like,
man.
you gotta leave.
Yeah. And so as the story gets more and more intense, the Johnny Truant character starts to like become super reclusive and agoraphobic. He just and he's just scared of everything,
Yeah.
and he's not paying his bills, and he's walled
his
himself
condition is mirroring like how he found Zampano,
off. Right.
like at the beginning of the story. Like, yeah, he's starting to go a little bit crazy, a little bit kooky.
Yeah.
And he's starting to actually like do a lot of the same things that he saw at Zampano's place. Like, he has the whole like tape measure thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Which, of course, the tape measure thing makes sense. The idea is like, okay, if this house is expanding and contracting and whatever, I need to believe that these dimensions in the room that I'm in are consistent. So I'm gonna nail this tape measure to the floor so that I know if something changes. Like, I get it, but it's crazy behavior.
yeah.
And
Also, I couldn't trust that because I feel like, and maybe this is crazy for me to think, I don't trust like rulers and tape measures because I'm like, yeah, who knows? Like, this, like an inch on this could be different on a different ruler.
I mean, honestly, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
So I wouldn't be trusting that at all.
But so another layer to this whole thing is that Johnny Truant is not necessarily a reliable narrator.
Not
He's
at all.
Very intentionally from the beginning is like, he says some lines about his past, and then it's written pretty well, so you get like invested in it, and then you immediately find out that it was a lie that he told to somebody.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And so the rest of the book, you can't really trust what he's saying.
Yeah. There's even the part towards the end of the story where there's just like a huge like blackout of information.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's because it's all dated, so it's like, here's this time in like 1997, and then the next entry is like 7 months later or something, and he's like, man, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And then it actually goes back, and it's like, oh, I was off being evil and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, it's hard to know what exactly is real, if anything.
Absolutely.
Is real in this story, which I have theories that we can get to.
I'm excited about that. But so after exploring for a while in the house, they discover a spiral staircase. There are a bunch of hallways and stuff, like doors and things. Most of the doors lead. All of the rooms in the expanded parts of the house are just ashen-looking walls and no windows. Some doors sometimes, but the doors only lead to like closets mostly. And then there's a giant room that they call the Great Hall. And in that room, there's a giant spiral staircase that just goes down. And so eventually they put together a large-scale expedition where they bring lots of equipment and lots of cameras.
In a wheelchair.
And a man in a wheelchair.
They're like, man, who can we get to tackle this staircase?
So messed up. But yeah, so they venture down the staircase, and it's like it is getting longer as they go. And that's a theme with the house, is that it expands and contracts. Like, sometimes the halls are really short, sometimes the staircase is really short, and sometimes it's super long.
Yeah, my assumption is that the house kind of like reforms itself according to the mindset of whoever is inside of it.
Well, they actually state that at some point in the book.
Well, look at me, I'm smart.
It's like they're talking about at one point. I think it's the two brothers, Will Navidson and Tom Navidson, separately are going in there, and it's like when one of them is in there, it's crazy long and it has no end and it's insane. And then when the other one's trying to go in there, it's like really short, like a reasonable sized room.
Yeah. Kind of reasonable.
I mean, it shouldn't be there, but like if it were to be there, it could be that big.
Did you ever see the movie Barbarian?
No, I haven't.
Oh man.
I want to.
'Cause-
that was one that was on my list, and I never got around to it.
Because I was thinking about that movie, specifically one bit from that movie, while I was reading this. Because, sorry, I'm going to go on a tangent real quick.
Hey, that's fine.
But Justin Long's character in Barbarian, he's the guy who owns the Airbnb. So,
Okay.
like, all the stuff happens. Like, people get, there's, like, the whole, like, downstairs tunnels and shit under the house. And then it cuts to Justin Long, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go visit my house real quick. He finds all these tunnels and shit, and the first thing he does is start measuring them. And he's like, I wonder, can I like add this like space so people have to pay more?
That's awesome.
And the whole time I was reading this book, I'm like, man, that's what they should be doing, really.
Yeah.
Set it up. I know it's like the 90s, but like now I have Airbnb. But yeah, like I could add this to my square footage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my tangent right there.
I'm a fan. But yeah, so the I don't know, as it goes on, it gets a little bit worse. Holloway kind of starts to lose it as they're doing this exploration. They're in there for like what, 7 days, something like that.
It's like they're starting to get worried because they didn't pack enough for that.
Right.
Like
they don't have enough food and water.
Yeah, the people on the outside who are just like waiting for them, they're like, yeah, they might be dead now.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
And they have a radio system set up, but it loses contact as they start to go down the stairs. That's when it kind of, okay, we can't do that anymore.
But yeah, so Holloway loses it because he keeps thinking they're getting chased.
Yeah.
Which, that's something we didn't even mention. There is a theoretical monster in this house.
Yeah, there is.
That is also the theoretical monster that maybe haunted Zampano. That is also theoretically the monster that is haunting Johnny Truant.
And I think that's super interesting because in the house, they never see it.
Yeah.
It's never given a physical form.
Mm-hmm.
But
it might not exist.
Johnny Truant kind of sees something a couple times.
Maybe.
Which is interesting. I think that's interesting because they never see anything in the house. But there is this creepy growl that they keep describing that they're like, is like, there's something, right? And sometimes it sounds really close and sometimes it sounds really far and they can't really track it. They can't pinpoint where it's at.
And someone says it might just be the house settling.
Yeah. Which is exactly what you say to that.
Yeah. Which, honestly, of all the... I'm not going to hop into my theories right now, but I think that's probably more true than it actually being a monster.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was on this initial round of exploration where, well, not initial, but the first time that they're in there for multiple days, I don't think is when this happens. But on a later one, because they just can't leave it alone, Holloway really loses it, and he ends up separated from the other two people that are with him because there are some people on his crew that he's brought. There's Wax, and there's...
And the other boy.
Jed?
Jed. I think it's Jed.
But basically, he ends up shooting Wax, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, he takes shots at both of them. He's lost it, and he brought a gun in there with him.
Yes, he did.
And he thinks, or at least based on what we find out later, he thinks that he's shooting at the monster.
Mm-hmm.
And in reality, he's just shooting the people.
Yeah.
And so Wax dies. Yeah? Wax? One of them dies.
I thought they dragged them out.
Well, they do, but one of them dies.
Oh, but he dies later.
He dies later.
Okay. They do all make it out of the house.
Except for one guy.
Except for one. Yeah.
But yeah, so it I don't know. It gets really intense. There's lots of stuff happening there. And of course, because all this is going down, Navidson, this guy that is addicted to danger a little bit and is super invested in documenting this whole thing, if he's like, I gotta go in there.
Yeah.
And
Even
his
though
wife
his
is
wife is like,
not on board.
You do that and out.
Yeah.
I'm
She-
taking the kids and I'm hanging with my mom
She threatens to leave constantly.
all the time.
And there's also there's a thing in their relationship. She has cheated on him, or at least people think she's cheated on him. It's not super clear exactly how much and what she's done,
Yeah.
but she's at least been a little shady in their marriage.
There are definitely people who want her to cheat on him
Right.
with them.
Because apparently she's pretty attractive. She was a model. She,
Yeah.
but also she's just got a personality that people get into. I don't know. She's just that kind of person. I mean, when Holloway first shows up, he like hits on her.
Yeah.
And Navidson is jealous, but then she actually is more interested in Jed or whatever that guy's name is.
They're all like making out and junk. Yeah.
Yeah, which is caught on camera because there are cameras everywhere.
And Will does not even care. He's in it for the art.
And you kind of assume that and she kind of assumes that he will see it. And it's almost a cry for help. Not like but like, please care. Please anything about us, like
then,
stop caring about this house and care about what's happening between you and me.
And then it's documented in the record that he does see it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't react at all. He's just like, I'm got to edit this shit.
This has got to be in there. We got to do this.
It's important to the plot.
That's something interesting. The entire time, they don't make Navidson out to be this perfect guy, but he is largely represented as a good guy. He cares about his wife, at least to some extent, and a lot of Zampano in a lot of the text justifies his behavior to say like, okay, this is why he's doing this. He cares about this. It's part of his job. He cares about her, but she's stepped out of their marriage, blah, 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 like all that.
A lot of the secondary text does as well. Like all the other things that are being sourced.
Yeah.
Different like textbooks and articles and interviews and stuff. It's you do really get to see like every side of these characters because you're seeing it from so many different perspectives.
Yeah, that's a really cool thing about the book is that there is no fixed perspective. It's not like it's a third person text or a first person text. It's everything. Like you get viewpoints from all over the place.
Yeah, you're liable to get like 20 different opinions on any scene.
Yeah,
it's a lot. Maybe even too much.
Probably too much. But so I mentioned that one of the characters gets shot.
Yes.
That happens, and also simultaneously, one of the teachers of the two kids is like, hey, there's something going on here. I'm going to go check this out. So she decides to make a house call and happens to show up when they're bringing this body out.
Yeah.
And there's another guy bleeding and there's a bunch of stuff going on. And she's just like, oh, I don't know what to do. Yeah. So.
Oh, my bad.
Lots of trauma in this book.
Yeah. And then there are, I'm trying to think. I don't know how long we've been going, but I know we've been focusing a lot on the Navidson record.
Yeah.
Which
that
is the best part of the book.
It is. It's the parts that I'm craving.
Yeah. But there are a few more expeditions. Will starts joining them, and then his brother eventually goes in too. And then do we want to like break all those down or just kind of sum up what happens at this point?
I think we can sum up to the later sections and kind of jump.
So, let's see. The house is evil and is getting real angry. So when they go in there, stuff starts like happening around the house, and Will gets lost a few times, right? Or at least twice.
Yeah, twice, I think.
Yeah. It's hard to sum up because first of all, there are so many expeditions, and this book is so long. But what I do know is that the house starts reacting. And when they get out at one point, there's it's described as like a sinkhole or something, right? Like the house starts kind of collapsing underneath them.
Yeah, the floor gives way and becomes this giant void, basically.
Yeah, it's like it's being like eaten up. It's being swallowed by the hallway.
Yeah, it's almost like gravity has shifted a little bit, I think, because I think at one point Navidson is holding onto a door, and like the hinges are giving way.
And he has to like swing onto like a railing. And Tom, the brother, ends up dying.
Yeah,
In-
I mean he's sucked into the house. We assume
Well,
he's
yeah.
dead.
But he's
Will does not assume he's dead.
yeah. So Tom is trying to save one of the children, and he like gets her outside of the like kitchen window just in time. And then Will's watching as he's like dragging her out of the window, and he sees his brother, and he's like, "Oh, I can still try and save him." And he's like, "No, just don't." Like he can't move. He's just kind of stuck there. And then
Yeah.
like he gets like sucked in,
Yeah.
and it's
Upsetting.
It's extremely upsetting. I had to stop after that for a while.
Which Tom is one of those characters that I really liked.
Yeah.
He's got his problems. He's dealing with alcoholism and some other things, but
He
he's
might be homeless and without a job.
Mhm.
It's never really stated outright.
They don't delve a whole lot into him, but he's genuinely like a good guy.
Yeah.
Like he cares about his brother.
And he cares about
He
his
cares
brother's
about
kids.
his brother's wife. He tries to make sure she's okay, and he very much cares about his brother's kids. He's the only one that's really paying attention to them.
Yeah.
By the end, because like at first their mom is kind of keeping track of them and like, oh, I got to protect them from all this stupid stuff happening. But
she just kind of goes numb.
yeah,
after a
she
while.
eventually just stops caring, and so it's really only Tom.
stops caring.
But it's really only Tom that's looking out for them by the end of it,
Yeah.
and then he's gone.
He might be the only good character.
Yeah. Well, Reston's pretty good. Reston is the wheelchair man.
The guy who's always rested.
Wow. Never thought about it like that.
Man, I'm so good.
But so that all happens. They get away from the house. By this point, Johnny Truant is not okay.
This is when he's like all locked up in his apartment.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a job, doesn't eat.
Yeah.
He doesn't pay rent.
When people see him, they're worried that he's on like
Yeah.
some hardcore drugs because he does not look right anymore.
He looks wrong.
And that's something that's a theme earlier on in the book. He's part of this party scene where Lude and him will go to bars and they'll stay out all night and flirt and sleep with a lot of women, and a large part of what they do is do a lot of drugs. But it's interesting because it's kind of stated in that it's not really said that it's like, we're not doing anything crazy, but it's kind of like, we're not doing anything in a way that's gonna kill us or whatever. That may or may not be true, but that's at least how Johnny views it. And so now it's like, oh, this guy is addicted to something that is ruining his life.
He's addicted to literature.
Yeah.
This is your brain on books.
And so people are checking up on him. There's this stripper that he was super interested in, and she's trying to see if he's all right. Lots of characters look in on him. Lude checks up on him.
His old boss is real worried about him.
Lude specifically is like, hey, you gotta stop, because he knows about this book. He knows what's going on. He's like, throw that away and stop, because that is killing you. I can see it killing you. Stop doing it. And he's like, yeah, but I'm not going to. Because he can't stop doing what he's doing. It gets to the point where he doesn't have electricity, his phone bill's not paid, and he doesn't have water. He's just like trying to have like whatever he can to survive. He's using candles to read the book. Like he can't, but he has to keep going.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, he decides that he's going to go to Virginia to try and
Find the house.
Yeah, and see if this is legit. So he's looking for Ash Tree Lane, which he can't find. Another indicator that maybe that's not real at all. But this is a point where it jumps back in to it mirrors what's going on with Johnny, like one of the darkest moments for him, also one of the darkest moments for Navidson. It's his final exploration into the house.
Yeah, so at this point, he is separated from his wife and kids, and he's hanging out. He's hanging out with Reston, right? He's staying at his place.
Yeah.
And then one morning, Reston wakes up and he finds a note, and it's Will, and he's like, "Yeah, I went back. I'm going in the house again." And then when Karen, his wife, finds out, she goes to the house to try and stop him. He's already in there.
It's too late.
Yeah, she finds his car outside, and like it's been a few days.
Yeah.
So she just starts staying in the house, waiting for him.
And when he and Reston are chilling together, he's like editing. He's they're getting samples that they took from the walls of the house. They're getting those analyzed to try and see what's going on. It turns out that they're from a million different eras. They're all from like most of them are from super far in the past.
Yeah.
Like Age of the
Before
Earth
Earth,
old.
yeah.
Like asteroids old. Like they can't even be from Earth. Yeah, so that's interesting. But he's like, I need to go back in there. And part of it is obviously because Tom's in there. Like he wants to see if he can find him. But when he goes in there, he brings a bike and a trailer for the bike, and he's got supplies for like
whole bunch of
for like a week or two at
like
least.
Cameras out the wazoo.
Yeah, he one of his biggest issues, because he's been editing this whole time, is he's not happy with how any of the shots look.
Yeah.
And so because he's a photographer, he very much cares about that. And so he's like, I got to bring better equipment to photograph in these dark spaces.
Yeah. And that expedition, it's hard to wrap your head around.
It's so cool though.
Yeah.
I love it. He's like, he goes in and he's riding this bike around these hallways, and then he starts to notice a subtle grade where it's like he doesn't have to pedal anymore.
Yeah, he's going downhill.
And so eventually he's like, okay, I've gone crazy far. He brought with him something to measure how far he's traveled, odometer. Is that what those are called?
I think so.
And so it's measuring how far he's going. He's like, I've gone miles, and I'm gonna have to go back uphill because I've been going downhill this whole time.
And eventually,
he's like, if I don't turn back now, I'm not gonna make it back before I run out of supplies. So he turns around
and he starts
going downhill again. Yeah. And so eventually he thinks that he's gotten turned around, so he goes back the other way, and he just gets all confused. And he's
gone, like, he's doing the math. He's like, I've gone thousands of miles at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so after he's gone thousands and thousands of miles, because he's just coasting on this bike.
He's just chilling.
He can tell that he's reaching, like in his mind, he knows that he might come to like a cliff or something and fly off of it, and then he can sense it coming. So he tries to stop as hard as he can. He can't see far enough with the light that he's got to know if he's actually come to a cliff, but he tries to stop as hard as he can and ends up like scraping himself up super badly because he like lays down on the ground basically and is sliding with this bike. But he stops. He's able to stop before he falls off the edge, and he finds like a little shack there. And he brings the bike into the shack and like stays the night. And then he tries to bring a bunch of supplies with him. He loses a lot of them, and it gets really weird from here.
Yeah. I don't even think we should like break down all of it, because this is something that it's not meant to really be described. You just kind of have to read it.
You have to read it.
I just know that the one part that really stuck out to me was when he was standing still, but he's like, yeah, I'm falling. Like, I've been falling forever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really weird. And like I said, just incredibly hard to wrap your mind around, because it's just impossible physics. It's like, it's feelings that you cannot have that he's trying to describe to us.
Yeah, and like there's no way to know what's happening to him because it's completely dark. He's not really experiencing so little input that he can't like, tell what's happening.
Yeah, there's like no like senses. There's nothing sensory for him.
Yeah. And then meanwhile Karen is living in the house and has kind of given up hope a little bit. But she's decided to just stay there and live there. And she's going over the tapes and editing them because they just randomly showed up in a room at one point.
Yeah, it just spits out the tapes that he had like while he was in the house.
Yeah.
And so she's watching all of it. And there's like a stationary camera that is viewing her watching the tapes.
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to her, the hallway like opens up behind her. And while she's like seeing the end of his tapes, which is he sees like he can just barely see like a little light in the distance, and that's like the last thing that we hear from Will.
Mm-hmm.
And then he doesn't come out of the, she goes in, doesn't she?
She goes in,
yeah,
and she brings him back out.
Yeah, she finds him.
And he is not all right because he's been in there for like a month, and he only had stuff for like 2 months.
Messed up, yeah.
Yeah. So he ends up.
He's like missing stuff.
Yeah. He loses a leg or something. He can't walk the same anymore.
He's like missing an eye.
Not the same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, get it? Because he's a photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's able to rejoin his wife and his kids, and they go on to live lives. It's
bittersweet.
Right.
And that is the end of the Navidson record.
Yeah.
And then with Johnny Truant, what's he up to right now? He's left his little apartment, mm-hmm. and he's like train hopping and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And this is after his time skip, right?
Yes.
After those like 7 or 8 months where he can't really remember anything.
And that's that was kind of when he was figuring out going to Virginia and all that stuff. And then eventually traveling around to places that he'd been.
Yeah.
He goes and sees the asylum that his mother was in, the mental institution.
Yeah.
And he's dealing with some personal stuff. And that's a big part of what he says, is that he's like initially trying to figure out Zampano and Navidson, and then he's like, no, I need to figure out me.
Yeah. And he goes back to his old house, and it's just not there anymore. Like everything's gone. They're like building new stuff there.
Yeah, it's been demolished and turned into industrial areas, industrial parks. And he finds out also that Lude has died.
Yeah.
Lude there was a person that Johnny slept with.
Yes.
And her boyfriend was not okay with that because, relationships.
So he beat up Lude.
He beat up Lude.
And then he was like really happy about it. He's like, man, I'm gonna get so much money from this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then he
yeah. He put him
died.
in the hospital, and
Yeah.
then Lude just kind of died.
Yeah, but then the guy finds Johnny,
Yeah.
and he starts beating up on him too. And then he just kind of snaps
Yeah.
and almost kills the guy.
And it
It's
gets bad.
Extremely uncomfortable to read.
Yeah. The stuff immediately
Immediately
after that is
yeah.
much worse.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about that.
Let's not talk about that.
We'll move on.
Yeah. But he
yeah,
eventually
just know
gets
that
better.
if you do read this book, there are things.
Yeah, trigger warning, I guess.
Yeah.
Talks of possible acts of, it's really hard to know, sexual assault.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah, and of course, as with all of the rest of the book,
Who knows if
who
it
knows
actually
if
happened?
it actually happened? Yeah, like even in the context of the story, like obviously in real life it didn't happen, but even in the context of the story, we don't know if it happened. But yeah, so
He gets better.
He gets better, in theory.
Yeah. He's riding trains, and he hops off at one point, goes to this bar, and I'm trying to remember. There is a song playing, right? That's about
it references the 5.5 minute hallway,
which is a real song by a real band, which is the singer in the band is the sister of the author of the book.
Oh,
I've listened to it.
that's really
Pretty
cool.
good.
All right.
But then he also, I think, overhears people talking about the Navidson record, or yeah.
Well, he buys the group a drink.
Yes.
Because he's started talking to the bartender.
Yeah.
And then through that he's able to get
To ask them like about the song and all
Yeah,
that, and
yeah,
they said that they read the
House of
Navidson.
Leaves.
Yeah, the House of Leaves, which
is the title of the book.
the title of the book. Yeah, and because apparently he being fucking what's his name, Johnny.
Johnny Truant.
Yeah, he finished it and he got it sent off to publishers
Yeah.
in his whole like weird mental state.
Mm-hmm.
And now like a year later or something, people are reading it.
Yeah. People know about it now.
And then
And I think it's like an internet thing at the time.
which is how it was in real life.
Right. Yeah. It was initially just on the internet and then eventually got published into like a legit book.
Which wild.
Yeah.
Also something else that I didn't even mention during the last expedition, Will is reading a book, and he's reading The House of Leaves,
Which is my favorite thing.
makes no goddamn sense.
It makes no sense. And my favorite part about it is the joke. There's a joke in there that I absolutely love.
Yeah.
About how he's trying to read this, but he doesn't have a lot of light left. And so he's like using matches, and they do a whole thing calculating the math of how many matches he's got and how many pages he's got and how fast he's reading. And then he starts having to light pages on fire.
Yeah, he like reads
and-
a page, rips it out, lights it so he can read the
Yeah.
next one.
And it's like at some point they're like the calculations might have been off because the book might have been written in a way that's intentionally hard to read. And I was like, that's hilarious. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, and that
That was one of my favorite parts of the book.
really threw me off because for a second, like when it said he was reading House of Leaves, I'm like, oh, there is another book called House of Leaves. It's like a
Yeah.
book of poetry.
Yeah.
But then it's specifically stated the page count
Yeah.
of the book he was reading, which is the same exact page count of the book that I'm reading.
Right.
And I'm like, well, shit. How does that make any sense?
Yeah, it was really... I loved that so much.
Yeah. But so Johnny now knows that the book is getting like spread around.
Right.
And that's kind of where his story
Yeah,
ends.
both of them, like, that's that's pretty much the end of the book. Like that's most of what happens.
Well, the end of the main chunk of the book.
Right. Then there are appendixes.
Yeah.
Appendices.
Which
they talk about.
It's a lot of like photographs and excerpts from other interviews, drawings, diagrams, and whatnot. A lot of poetry, and then eventually you get to a collection of letters that Johnny's mother sent to him.
Yeah.
While she was in the hospital, and that part kind of wrecked me emotionally.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I forgot what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
So there's the man. So the way the letters are written, you're only reading one side of it. At least based on what you read, Johnny responds to some of them.
Yes.
And so the whole thing is happening. Johnny's a kid. He's like 8.
Yeah, like 7 or 8.
And then as time passes, he gets to like 12, 13, 14. And they have this weird, strained relationship because of her situation.
Yeah,
I mean,
because she's not well mentally. Right. She was sent to the hospital because she maybe tried to kill him.
Right.
She definitely choked him.
Well, but even that is like not for sure.
Yeah.
Because like she says that she
definitely
did.
In her mind she choked him.
Right, but other people say that she didn't.
Yeah.
And so it's like who knows what really happened there.
Which is after she hurt him before, which is she spilled hot oil on his arms, which is why he has these scars all up his arms
that he makes up stories about constantly.
Yeah, to get laid.
But the more you read her letters, the more paranoid and like obviously not okay she becomes.
Yeah.
And she's constantly talking about the institution and the people that are dealing with her and how she doesn't trust them. And they're trying to stop her from contacting him and all this stuff.
Yeah, she's like trying to win the trust of like a certain person who works there to make sure that they can send the letter out without it being seen by like the director, which so she states that the first director who she really liked and who really helped her left, and now there's the second director who's like all on her case about everything, and he's changing her letters before they get sent out and holding the letters from Johnny so she can't read them.
Yeah.
Which we later find out
from her.
It's the same guy.
Yeah.
She just
got confused.
Yeah, she got very confused.
Yeah. And
then there's a third director.
Point, at a certain point there actually is a second director, and he does change things. But also there's a whole letter written in the most basic code, which is the first letter of every word is part of a word.
Yes.
And I tried to read the like what the letter actually says, not the code, and it's just gibberish.
Yeah.
But also reading that messed me up because as I was trying to read stuff later, because I don't know how you did it, but I just read it, you know. As I was trying to read stuff later, I wasn't reading the words. I was looking at the letters at the beginnings of the dang.
Because there are other like secret letters in there.
Yeah.
There's one to Zampano.
Yeah, I thought, well, I never read all of it. Well, I read all of the letters, but I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
I figured that there was going to be.
Yep.
And so I kept looking, and then I kept not seeing anything. So eventually I coaxed my brain out of doing that. Yep. So apparently I missed something.
Which that is part of my big theory.
Okay.
Which we'll be able to get to soon.
But that letter was the first letter like that was super dark. About her being again assaulted and other things. It was a difficult read.
It's rough. Yeah.
Not just for the fact that you can't read it because you have to read the letters and then make up like you have to figure out where the words start and end.
But the actual content,
It was also upsetting.
Yeah. No, that whole section with his mother I found rather upsetting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough. It was a tough read.
Yeah.
The whole book was a tough read, but the further you get into it, unsurprisingly, the harder it is.
Yeah. Which, like, I already was in a weird emotional spot when I was reading that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this book put me, like, I'm not going to say the book itself did it, but I ended up in a dark place as I was going through this.
Yeah, no. Yeah, understandably, I was a little depressed when I was reading the end of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I went through huge swings throughout this book. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend it.
Yeah. Just kind of block out some time when you're in a really good mood.
Yeah.
And then do nothing but read this book. And you'll fix that problem. You
Yeah.
won't be in a good mood anymore.
But I'm so glad we read it. It's
Yeah, I'm glad that I can say that I've read it.
yeah.
And you know what? I will read it again.
I don't know that I'll say that, but I liked that I read it. I'm glad to have read it. I don't remember what we. Oh yes, yeah, the letters and everything.
Yeah,
but
this book made me depressed as hell.
Yeah, yeah. But I feel like we've covered most of what we need to for context here. I think we can really jump into theories. And
if you want to know anything else, read the book.
Yeah,
just read it.
Yeah.
You know what I always say when I always say it. Read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such an easy read. It'll only take you 4 months. But yeah, so let's jump into our opinions of this.
Yeah. Good book.
I love it. I think
it's great.
it's
I'm
so cool.
Go ahead. I am so happy that you like it.
Yeah.
I was worried when I was reading this.
Me too.
Because I was like, this is like the big one. This is the one that I really wanted us to read. This was my pick, by the way, in case you were wondering. And it's something that I've wanted to read for years. I've had the book for about 1.5 years now. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to read it. I'm going to get Tim to read it. But then when I was actually going through it, I was like, oh, shit. Is he going to hate it? Is he going to hate this book? This is so hard to read. Well, did I fuck up?
And I was worried when I was looking at it, like before we started reading it, when we were leading up to it, I was like, this is going to be hard.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I'm going to do with that.
But
like I loved this book so much, and I think it worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, because you had recommended this book to me years ago.
Yeah.
And I hadn't picked it up.
Before I'd even read it.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what you should read?
But we read this together, and we actually ended up doing roughly the same thing.
Oh my God.
It's so weird.
We have to talk about this. So we started reading on probably the same day.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, right after we finished reading Invisible Man.
Yeah.
And we both took 4 goddamn months to read this book.
Yeah.
And then we both finished it within an hour of each other.
Which is insane.
How the hell does that work?
And the craziest thing about, like, we also stopped at the same time.
We did,
because we went on a bachelor trip.
Yes.
And we decided not to take the book with us.
Because it's so big.
And
then we had the wedding, which we didn't take it with us.
Yeah.
Because it's so big.
And we just, we weren't feeling it. Neither of us were like, this is the time to read this. So I'm sure we both probably, like, gave it a glance here and there, but like
I gave it a glance on my bookshelf. I was like, yeah, there it is.
Exactly. So we both kind of picked it back up and just, I don't know, we decided it was time.
Yeah.
And we did it.
I read I read almost 300 pages in 2 nights.
Yeah.
That hurt me.
I didn't do that much.
I
spread it out a little bit more.
Yeah, that's why when I was talking about that end piece with the letters, I read the last chunk of the book plus all of that in one night. I was a mess.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was
There's so much that happens
awful.
in that last chunk.
It was so bad.
It's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had taken like a week to finish out what I was doing, and I texted Joey. I was like, "Hey, I just finished the book. Like, we did it. We did it."
I'll pull up the text.
Yeah.
You know what? If we do post on Instagram, that'd be a really funny picture to have.
Yeah,
It's just that text right there. We text each other too much.
maybe.
Talking about next season. Oh yeah, here you go. You said on Tuesday, April 8th at 10:32 p.m. You said finished her. Book is done. Hell yeah. Tuesday, April 8th, 11:33 p.m. Wow, you were an hour ahead of me, you bitch.
Yeah, I thought that was so crazy when I read that. That was amazing. But yeah, so we did it. Book's over.
Book's over. And now I have to ask you, do you have any theories about what you think is going on here?
I mean, nothing super insightful. But
I sure do. And I want to hear yours first.
Yeah, I can talk about just my general thoughts of the book, which are not really theories, more as just like, here's what I thought about it. I mean, like I said, first of all, really liked it.
That's a good theory.
It had it had a lot of cool things about it. I mean, just like we talked about, I don't think there are a lot of books where you get this many different perspectives on every single event that happens in it.
Yeah.
And I really like that. It's so cool to see contradictory opinions, and
you even get multiple opinions on like the main like narrator's story.
Yeah.
Because like Johnny is kind of leading us through all this, but then you have like the editors.
Yeah. And the editors are like, well, that's not.
Yeah, they're popping in and they're
thing.
like, yeah, Mr. Truant said some shit. I don't know where this came from.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that so much.
It's so good. So I guess there's 5 stories really, because you got the Navidson record, which is, so you got Will Navidson circle. Outside that circle, you got Zampano. Outside of that circle, you got Johnny. Outside of that circle, you got the editors. Outside of that, you got my boy Mark Z. Danielewski. I heard Danielewski also. I don't know which it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Debut book, by the way. Isn't that insane?
This
is his first book.
That's crazy.
How do you do that?
That's crazy.
It took him 10 years to write. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, like, so other things that about this book, it intentionally makes you feel crazy reading it. Like the way it's structured, like a lot of it is very normal and you know, it feels nonfiction. It feels put together. And then there are parts of it where it's just all over the place. Like the text is on.
You have to like start spinning the book around to read it.
Yeah.
You're doing fucking 360s.
There are sections where it's just lists of names and objects and things interspersed with actual text.
Yeah.
And you never know where that's going to start and end.
I love during the expeditions, occasionally it'll be formatted where there's like only a couple words on a page, and that really messes with the pace that you read.
Yeah.
Because it's like a lot of like huge blocks of text, and then you flip the page and it's like two words, and you're just flipping through it so fast, and that completely changes how you approach what's happening on the page.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I think that's super cool. And the other thing that I think is super cool about that is it reflects like what's supposed to be going on in the house, where it's like, you know, like small things are huge now, and huge things become small, and it like just keeps expanding and contracting. Like that's what the text does. Like some sections of it you can read so fast and they take up so much of the book, and other sections are super slow and they take forever to read because they're so dense and they're difficult.
And it definitely helped me get through the book too.
Yeah.
Because like I was like, I'd start a new chapter or I'd like get to a new chapter and I'd be like flipping the pages, like, all right, how long is? Oh, this is 90 pages. Fuck. But then I see it's like, oh, okay, so half of this is like 2 words on a page. All right.
Right. Yeah, like I can do that.
It's like I
Like
finish.
if I
it
can
like
just
20
make it
minutes.
to the part where that happens.
Yeah. If I make it to the cool part, the part where the shit's going down, then I'm like, yeah, he went up the stairs. Okay, I got this.
But like, well, and I love there's so much text painting where it's just like they format it so that like it's little blocks like the hallway, or it's like going up because they're climbing the stairs, or it's going down because they're going down the stairs.
Yeah,
or
especially
I love that.
Yeah, with Navinson's last I'm losing my mind right now with this last expedition, where it's like you flip the page and then it's all sideways and it's all funneling down, and then it funnels like back up. But
Cool.
it's like you have to read from the bottom to the top of the
Yeah.
text. It's like
That messed me up.
It
took me a minute to figure it out.
It took me so long. Yeah, there's no reading guide for
Like
this.
I got through like 3 pages and then I was like, wait a minute, this is how you read that.
Yeah.
And then I went back.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm reading this book wrong.
Yeah.
How did they do that to me?
Yeah. Gosh, it's so awesome.
It's so good.
And but yeah, so general like
Can you give me a time?
119.
Okay, cool.
General thoughts about it. I felt like, okay, so Johnny was that the monster?
Yeah.
I felt like that the monster is real, but it's like it exists only in a mental space. It's not a physical being. It inhabits your mind. And I felt like the Navidson record is not real, but
I agree.
It is the monster's way of getting into people's heads.
Exactly.
And so it got into Zampano's head, and it through Zampano was trying to send it to other people. And Zampano ended up not being able to successfully do that, but Johnny Truant picked up where he left off, and the monster was working on him, trying to turn it into a book. And they even say in the part where he's talking to the band,
Yeah.
that like they're like, it'll change you, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's the monster, like it feeds off of your psyche.
Yeah. I was wondering if that's like they're actually like, oh yeah, that book, like reading that book will mess you up, or if they're like, oh man, I'm so indie, reading this book is so weird.
It totally could be either way.
Yeah,
it totally could.
It'd be so funny if it really fucked up these two people.
Yeah,
and then it like spread to everyone else, and it's like,
but they just thought it was a cool.
They're like, yeah, man, it's pretty cool. Is it so weird?
Yeah.
You ever? I don't even have a joke. Fuck it, let's go.
But yeah, so that's something that I really liked about it, and I
know the joke I was gonna make.
Go ahead.
It was the Paul Blart Dark Side of the Moon thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's not funny. It's not a good joke.
You killed it with the delivery there.
Thank you.
But yeah, and that's the thing about it that I think is so skillful. The way that it interfaces with real life.
Mm-hmm.
This book did mess me up a little bit. Like, it's not like I was like losing my mind and felt like I was experiencing a monster, but I was different after reading it and during reading it. And it's just like, that's the whole concept, is that this text changes you. And I love that. That's such a cool idea. Also, funny anecdote slightly.
Let's do it.
I bought a new pot for cooking, and
it was bigger on the inside.
Well, so here's what happened. I didn't know what size pot I had. My pot broke. It cracked.
Okay.
Crack pot.
And
so I bought a new one online, and when it came, I opened it up, and I'm like, this is way bigger than what I need. And dude, I was throwing away the box. Like, I took the box out and I was gonna throw it away, and I was looking at the box. I can't figure out how the pot could fit in the box. The box is way too small for the pot to have ever been in there. Like, I held them up next to each other, and I'm like, there's no way. And I couldn't get it back in. But it's not like when things are packaged and they expand when you take them out. This is a metal pot. And I couldn't figure it out, so I threw it away because it was scaring me. And of course that happens while we're reading this book. But yeah, so let's jump into your theories if you're ready to go.
All right, are you ready for my theory?
Yeah, tell me your theory.
So I'm not sure if I'm fully committed to this, but it's like kind of a big brain thing right now. I think that Johnny's dad, Jonathan's father, you know Jonathan Truant?
Uh-huh.
I think his father is Zampano. And I think the message that you missed that was from his mom to Zampano was kind of like because they were together. I don't think they were married, but I do think they were together. And my biggest reason for that, first of all, is because I did catch the message between his mom and Zampano, but also the whole thing with the Minotaur, which we didn't talk about at all, but there are in a whole bunch of different sources, people are talking about the myth of the Minotaur in relation to the Navidson record, but every time it pops up, Zampano would mark it out.
Yeah.
And I think that is a weird subliminal way of showing that he is Johnny's father.
Oh, because the Minotaur is the son of the... Yeah. Okay.
So that's my big thing.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I hadn't missed that letter. I'm going to have to read that now.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that was the second thing that I caught. I caught the Minotaur thing like pages and pages before.
I'm sure.
Maybe I'm just that smart. Who knows?
Yeah, I just didn't put that together well enough.
But yeah, because that was one of the few notes that I took in chapter... Hold on. IX. That's 9.
Yeah.
I'm losing it. Yeah. I said Zampano crosses out everything related to the myth of the Minotaur. Why? Question mark. And then I said, holy shit, is this just the story of the Minotaur? And then I said, Jesus Christ, footnote 144. I don't remember what footnote 144 is. We could figure it out real quick.
Yeah.
Or we could not. I don't know if I have any other good notes. See, I wrote 2 pages of notes.
Yeah.
Or technically 1 page back and forth. And then I have pages of notes on my phone. And then I have screenshots on my phone of all the different conversations I was having with people.
Yeah.
So my notes, much like this book, are a mess.
Yeah.
Chapter 10, here we go. The house changes according to the mindset of the person exploring it. I already mentioned that one. The perception of the reader is changing the book itself with only a few sentences a page, making the story seem to go along faster. Hey, I already mentioned that too. The footnotes on page 252 are really funny. That's my last note. That was in chapter 10. That's like 200 pages into the book.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my big theory. Secondary theory, one that I'm not really sure if I fully believe in, but a lot of my friends were passing it around and they seem very convinced. Johnny isn't real. Zampano might not even be real. Everything is written by the mother, and she's just extremely delusional. Or possibly Zampano, that might even tie into the theory that I do believe in, which is that he's Johnny's father, but Johnny didn't survive, because there's many times in his life where he could have died. So there's the whole thing of like him being born and there were complications.
Yeah.
There's the whole thing about her trying to choke the life out of him. So maybe he did die.
Maybe.
And she's just too far gone to actually know that.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't necessarily buy into that either.
Yeah, I don't
because
know.
I just feel like
I don't see a lot of the validity in that one.
Yeah.
But it was interesting, and I thought I'd throw it out
Yeah,
here.
I like that.
Just because I'd heard it so much.
That's really cool thinking. I like that.
But yeah, the one that I stick with is Zampano's his dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially because they never mention his last name. They specifically strike it out.
Yeah.
And we never get Zampano's last name. Or maybe Zampano is his last name. Who knows?
Yeah, I never really figured that out either.
I don't think it would be, though, because
Yeah.
then he would know. He
Right.
knows Zampano's name. He's talking about him all the time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that is my big theory. But, hey, that's just a theory. A book theory. So, yeah, that's the book. You guys should read it. It's kind of fantastic, and it'll mess with your mind, and it's long as hell, and it'll make you super depressed, and maybe you shouldn't read it.
Yeah. It's it's just one of those books that it's super artsy, but I don't think that it's artsy to the point that it detracts from what it is.
Yeah, no, it's kind of perfect in its execution.
Yeah.
Specifically in the way that it can only be read in the way the story can only be told in the way that it is. You
Yeah.
couldn't read this as an ebook. You couldn't watch this as a movie. This has to be a physical book that you are holding.
Yeah.
And that's great. Speaking of which, can I blow your mind real quick?
Please do.
I don't even know. You may already know this, but I was thinking about it when I first bought the book. And I'm moving away from the mic, but I'm grabbing my book. Hold on. Did you notice this really cool thing about the book wherein the inside is bigger than the outside?
Oh.
Ain't that something?
Man, I feel stupid now.
Yeah, I did too for the longest time. And then one day I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's funny, man.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm glad that it took to the last episode of this season for me to get kind of trashed while we're recording.
Yeah. What an episode to get a little bit gone on.
Definitely helped in my mind right now.
Yeah.
When I'm editing this, who knows?
Yeah, it's going to be rough for you.
It's going to be me.
But so it's time to jump into the game.
Actually, do we want to do rankings first?
We usually do that at the end, but that's
all right.
fine.
Hand me that tape measure real quick. So, I have concocted this game that Tim does not know about. He knows the punishment though. Now I'll explain the punishment to you. We're going to play a game. The winner of this game has to get a tattoo. The loser of this game also has to get a tattoo. A cool thing about this book, every time the word house is typed out, it's in a blue font. The font is different depending on which narrator you're reading it from, but the blue is always the same. The winner gets a very simple house in blue. The loser has to get Hugh Laurie's face tattooed on him. You know Hugh Laurie, right? House MD.
Classic.
So good.
Great joke.
And I thought because we're both gonna have to get painful needles in our arms, let's make this game as fair as it possibly can. In the story, Navidson likes to tape measure a whole bunch of stuff because he's like going, he thinks he's going crazy. Why is the inside of his house bigger than the outside of his house? We're going to pick a number pick a 5 or 7. Pick one. 7. We're going to pick 7 random objects in this room. We're both going to try and guess how long it is, and whoever gets more right wins.
Oh, man.
This is the first thing that I thought of when we were doing this, because we always struggle. We're like, oh man, what's the game gonna be? As soon as I was like, all right, we're doing House of Leaves, I'm like, we're gonna measure some random shit.
Yeah.
So that's
Classic.
it.
So do we pick for the other person and they have to guess?
Well, here's the thing. I think I'm too drunk to get up right now.
Okay.
Just pick 7 objects and hand them to me, and we're both. I'm gonna.
Okay, we're both gonna guess.
We're both gonna guess, and then I'm gonna measure it.
Okay. All right. Let me get up and
Yeah.
pick things.
All right, we have one object. We're doing good. We're doing good. Can't take anything off the wall. Oh, actually, I will pick one object because I know it's right behind me.
The sword.
The sword. And I'm going to feel like such a fake nerd because I can't remember the name of the sword. Oh, I'm hitting the trumpet. I'm hitting the trumpet. No, I'm not. I'm hitting the chair.
You were hitting the trumpet.
Don't ever correct me.
I won't ever talk to you again.
All right, we have two objects. If it makes it easier, we could do 5. We can do 5. All right, Tim needs to pick 3 more objects. All right, we have a third object. All right. You guys doing okay? Oh, he did take something off the wall. Nice. And placed it right on my foot. Nice.
That's 4.
That's 4. And I was so hoping you were going to pick that for the last one. Yeah, perfect. That has to be the last one. All right, Tim, sit your beautiful ass back down, and we're going to start this game, which I call, let's measure some shit.
Okay. Great game name.
All right. You want to do it in the order they're just laid out right now?
Yeah. So
All
here's the first thing. It's a bottle.
It's a bottle. It's like a root beer bottle. It's a The Monkey's banana nut soda, pure cane sugar soda bottle. All right, I'm going to hold this up for everyone to see. By everyone, I mean the two of us. What do you think? Or should we say it at the same time?
Yes, we should.
All right, let me give
I
a second.
have decided.
Me too. On the count of 3, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then we say.
Okay.
1, 2, 3,
8
7.
inches.
I'm so glad we didn't say the same thing. All right, I said 7. He said 8. I'm going to set this bad boy to a foot.
And so we're going to do closest. We're just closest,
yeah,
right?
Whoever's closest. God damn it, it's 9 1/4. Tim wins.
Yes.
Number 1.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right,
All right.
have this bottle back. Number 2, we have a remote.
A remote for a camera.
A remote for a camera that we couldn't get to work earlier.
Yeah.
I have my guess. Do you have yours?
I'm going to say.
Hold up.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm ready.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
5
4.5.
inches.
Ooh, all right. I said 4.5. He said 5.
I'm scared.
Oh, fuck.
no.
I dropped it. And we're sitting pretty, damn it, at 6 inches.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
Tim, if you win this next one, you win. All right. Now, Tim, what we have here is a replica of Aragorn's sword from The Lord of the Rings. What is the name of the sword? I don't remember.
Oh, I'm a bad nerd. I don't know either.
I'm trying to think of
Isn't it,
sword lengths right now. Go ahead. All right, you get your phone, look up the name of the sword, and I'm going to look up the length of the sword.
Don't do that.
I'm kidding, because it wouldn't even be. I bet you this is not screen
yeah, no,
accurate.
I'm sure it's not.
Sword length.
What'd you do?
Nothing. I was answering a text, actually.
Oh. So it is called Anduril?
Anduril. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Here we go. Now I've got what I have in mind. Not
right.
yet. Wait.
Oh, you don't have it.
Wait.
Okay.
Okay.
I have my guess.
I've got it. All right, I'm ready.
All right. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
35
53.
inches.
We're like the opposite.
Interesting.
All right, I said 53. He said 35. We're sitting pretty at, god damn it, 41 inches. Look who's getting Hugh Laurie on his body.
It's you,
It's
baby.
me.
That's what I'm talking about.
I still want to play the rest of them.
I mean, yeah, we got to finish it out.
All right, this is a guitar, a bass guitar, a Beatle bass guitar. Which one played bass? Was it Paul? Was it Paul?
It was Paul.
Paul's guitar
It is
of the bass variety.
Yeah, it's a Vio bass, not original.
All right,
But...
ready? 1, 2.
Wait.
Okay.
I'm not ready. Hold on. I didn't even look at it. Okay, I got it.
1, 2, 3, 40.
48.
All right, I got 40. He's got 48. I have to bend down, so you're going to lose my voice for a moment.
Oh, there he goes. He's measuring. It's getting exciting.
43.
All right, Joey won one. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
All right, and now we got the book, House of Leaves.
Now we got.
Are we measuring the width or the height?
We're going to measure the depth. No. We're going to measure the height.
Okay. All right, I've got it.
Me too. I'm going to get very specific with this. Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
9.75.
9.25.
Oh,
Get fucked. I win.
dang. All right, but I
But you
still
still
destroyed.
win.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to put stuff back on the wall real quick.
That's smart. So while he does that, I'm just going to talk to you guys. Have you guys ever gotten a tattoo before? I've gotten tattoos before. People think that they hurt. They're right. But it's like a good hurt. Like John hurt. He was a doctor. He was the war doctor. You have anything to say about the war doctor? I'm talking to Tim's stomach right now.
He's pretty cool.
He's pretty cool. He's back.
Look who's back. It's me.
Wow. All right, we did it. I'm getting a tattoo of Hugh Laurie somewhere on my body.
And I'm getting a cool tattoo
And
of the word house in blue.
Yeah, whatever
reference to this
font
book.
you want. You can pick whatever font.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Just run it by me first.
All right. I'll talk to you about it. Yeah. So that's the show basically.
That is the show. One season down.
Yeah. So let's rank the books, and then we can talk about next season, and then wrap things up.
So here's the funny thing: ranking's gonna be hard because I kind of forgot what all my rankings were.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna
Just off the dome.
Off
Let's
the
go.
dome. Yeah. I'm gonna. Yeah. Number 6. Should we do 6 still?
Yeah.
All right. Number 6 is unfortunately Roadside Picnic, one that I picked. It's kind of sad. I haven't gotten around to reading it again. Just really was not my bag, unfortunately. Number 5. Ooh, I think I might have to go. Hold on, what are the other books? Ooh, number 5, I think I would go. Are you ready for this? You're going to be disappointed. It's The Gods Themselves. Great book. 5's not bad. It's still really good. Everything above 6 is really good in my opinion.
That's fair.
Number 4, I'm going to go Hunt for Red October. Good book. Really wish we still had that episode.
Yeah, me
Man,
too.
that was fun. We played Battleship, and I won. Tim had to do like shots
so
of
much.
salt water.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was great. What am I on now? Number 4. Man, what other books did we do? No, I know what other books we did. Number 4, I'm gonna do House of Leaves. Oh yeah,
Really?
pretty good book. I don't know if you've heard about it. You should. I have a certain podcast episode you should listen to if you want to know more. Number 3. Oh man, isn't this something? Probably. What are the other 3 books? Hold on. I know 2 of them.
Invisible Man.
Yeah, Invisible Man is number 2. Neuromancer is number 1. What's the other book?
You already did. You were at 3.
Yeah. Neuromancer number one
Wow.
in the hearts and in the minds of everyone around here. Neuromancer forever and always. I started reading the second one, by the way. Pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put Neuromancer at number 6.
Kill
I'm
yourself.
sorry. I need to reread it. I'm
You do.
going to reread it. But just I don't know if it was just where I was at when I was reading it, but it didn't vibe with me. I wasn't about it.
You were at the wrong place.
But yeah, so number 6, Neuromancer. Number 5, I'm going to say Hunt for Red October. Same
Good
spot.
book. Yeah.
Roadside Picnic, number 4.
Ooh.
I actually liked a lot of what it had to offer. I do agree that it was a little bit stilted in the way it was written, the way it was translated, we can say.
Yeah.
Don't know what it's like in the original Russian. I'm sure it's a lot better. But number 3, I'm going to say Invisible Man.
Good book.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put The Gods Themselves at number 1, which puts
House of Leaves at number
2.
2. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really high up.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah, me too. I'm so happy though. If you wouldn't have liked this book, I would have been very disappointed.
Genuinely, I almost put it at number 1. It was a crazy read. And I haven't read a lot of stuff like this, so just venturing outside of what is my normal purview of reading, I enjoyed that. So
Yeah, that's something that I really appreciated about this season. I read books that I probably would not have read otherwise.
absolutely.
Specifically, I don't think I'd ever pick up a Tom Clancy book.
Yeah.
But I did. It was good.
Yeah, I
Never-
enjoyed that one.
Never thought I was going to ever finish this book. I did. It was good.
Yeah.
The Gods Themselves, probably wouldn't have read it. I like Asimov, but I'm not the biggest Asimov head.
Yeah.
I've read iRobot. That's about it.
Fair enough.
Roadside Picnic. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say that there's almost no way I would have read any of the 3 that you picked before what we did
Yeah.
here.
Neuromancer. I was going to read it eventually.
Yeah.
Number 1 in the hearts and minds of everyone.
And I
forever
will
and
check that
always.
out. Maybe I'll give you all an update when I reread that book. But yeah, so leading into
next season.
next season.
Oh, I'm so excited for next season. If this season barely had a theme, next season has a bit more of a theme. And by
Yeah.
a bit more, I mean a good bit more. Next season, 7 episodes, including 1 holiday special. What the heck? We're going to be doing novel adaptations, aka novelizations of different books. Let's go ahead and rattle off every single book that we're going to read just so you can prepare. Go ahead and type them into your little search tab so that you can buy every book and read along with us. Season 2 of You Can't Join Our Book Club. We are reading Days of Future Past, the X-Men comic. That's right. We're kind of leaning you in easy. We're doing a novelization of a novel so you can get into it. After that, fuck you. We're doing Alan Wake. No more books now. It's a video game. Then we're doing Ultraman. Fuck you even more. That's a TV show. Then we're doing Halloween Ends. Fuck you. I like that movie. Then we're doing the original Tron. That's pretty good. Doctor Who, the movie? That's pretty good too. If you don't like the 8th Doctor, suck my butt. And then we're doing the 2-part finale. It's only 1 part, but it's 2 books. Death Stranding, part 1 and part the 2nd. Oh my god. I'm so excited for that. And if the fates allow, we're going to start doing videos for the next season so that we can have costumes for every episode. Who knows if that'll fall through or not.
Yeah.
But God, I really
You'll
hope
just have to
it
see.
doesn't, because I already bought a whole bunch of stuff.
You'll just have to see.
But yeah, thank you for joining us on this journey through quite a lot of pages of books. It's been a pleasure doing this with you, Tim. Can't wait to do this again.
Yeah. Super excited for next season.
Yeah, this is going to be so good. And I think that's all I have.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you all for joining us. If you ever want to reach out to us, we have an email.
We do
Who knows what it is?
have an email. Is it
Book
Book Club
no at gmail.com. Go ahead and send us any ideas that you have for books that we might read,
Yeah.
or your thoughts if you've read these books.
Yeah, if you
we'd
have
be
any,
happy to read some stuff on the show.
If you have any theories about this particular book, go ahead and send them our way because
Yeah.
I'd love to read them.
Yeah, we'd like to keep revisiting some of these books, especially the ones that we're really into. Yeah, so please just join us next time. And
until then, bye.
You still can't join our book club.
You still can't. Yeah, get out of here.
Goodbye.
What do you think you're doing? Boo. Yeah.